Hello and welcome to another edition of An English Guy Watching Wrestling. I'm the English Guy. I'm Nick. Thank you so much for clicking on another video. I really do appreciate it. And in this one, we're going to be covering the 16th of March. Oh, my phone does it away. Strange start. There we go. So yeah, 16th of March edition of AEW Dark. So with that being said, let's jump right into it. The opening match was between Luchasaurus and Caesar Bononi. Now, I've enjoyed Luchasaurus, he first ever appeared in AEW, and also the same as Jurassic Express. I love them. And very rarely do you see a match involving Luchasaurus with a man the same size as him and also equal in strength, which I'll give that to Caesar Bononi. And to be honest, I enjoyed it. These two had a very good back and forth match to open the show. And Caesar Bononi is starting to improve, I think. Luchasaurus is a great big man. For a guy his size, he's very agile. And he proved it in this match with a standing moonsault to win, which is not something that see often winning a match with him. But that's great, and it really adds to it. But I enjoyed this match as an opening match goes. It was really good stuff, and it's always great to see Caesar Bononi getting a bit more of a time because now he's aligned with Peter Avalon. It's been so entertaining to watch. And yet again, I said it in previous reviews, he pulls that Peter Avalon with the chain. Peter Avalon is laying on his heart-shaped bed or cushion, whatever you want to call it. It's just so entertaining. He does it every week now. It's great. I love it. I really do. And it just adds to what AEW Dark's been doing lately. They've been adding a bit more character, a bit more difference in what they're doing, and it's paying off. And this was a good way to open it, and very good match. So thumbs up to both of them. And the next match was legit Layla Hirsch, who was the newest signing of this point of recording to AEW. So congrats to Layla Hirsch, and she's a really good wrestler if you've ever seen her. She's very good. Whereas it's Savannah Evans, and I would say Layla Hirsch, as far as I can tell, I'm pretty sure she is the smallest female competitor in all of AEW. But she may be one of the most fierce. She does not care. She will take on anyone because she's a very good wrestler and she can do it. And this was actually a good women's match, to be fair. It wasn't the longest match. And Savannah Evans is not a small female wrestler by any means. She's quite tall, regardless. And her next to Layla, the way they clashed, the size difference, it worked. Obviously, Layla Hirsch being the I don't care how tall you are, I'm going to take you on attitude. And kind of interesting to see her going to get in Vicky Guerrero's face after she won the match with the cross-arm breaker as a finisher. And kind of seeing Nyla Rose versus Layla Hirsch down the line. I wouldn't mind seeing that at all. That would be kind of cool. So, thumbs up for that. And next match was John Skyler versus John Silver. Battle of the name Johns. John Skyler has been in AEW before, but John Silver, part of one of the most popular and biggest faction. Actually, they are the biggest faction in AEW right now. Yes, they are the biggest faction. But John Silver, what else can you say about John Silver? He's great. He's one of the most lovable guys in all of AEW. He's just great all round. It wasn't the longest match, but he did win the match in convincing fashion. John Skyler did fine. It wasn't a long match, but it was a fun match. So there we go. And the next match was Tasha Price versus Penelope Ford. And wasn't the longest match, and Penelope Ford did win with a very impressive handspring into a cutter. I can't remember what she calls it. So can't remember what it's called. It's going to bug me now. Anyway, but I will say this: Tasha Price did a good job, and since she's been in AEW, I've seen her. She's done impressive work, and she did very well here. Even if it wasn't the longest match, Tasha did look pretty cool. Penelope Ford is, I think, I'm probably going to say the most athletic competitor in the female division. That's saying something because there are some athletic competitors in the women's division. But I will say to Penelope Ford, I'm not going to go into detail what's been said about her recently, her, Miro, and Kip Sabian by someone. I'm not going to go into it. But Penelope Ford, Miro, Kip Sabian, keep on doing what you're doing. Don't stop. Don't let anybody tell you you're doing a bad job because you are doing a great job. Otherwise, you would not be in AEW. Simple as that, really. So, but well done to both ladies for this one. Brings us to the next match: Chaos Project versus Fuego del Sol and Jake St. Patrick. And not the longest match, but again, Chaos Project are one of my favourite tag teams in AEW because of just how different and unique they are. And of course, the fact, even though Luther didn't really use Serpentico as a weapon as much as he usually does, it was kind of interesting to see. And I'm so I'm not going to say frustrated, but I really want Frank Eagle to sort to win the match. He lost again. I think he's got the second biggest losing streak in AEW. I think only Sean Dean has the biggest losing streak after him, before him, sorry. But he actually hit the tornado of DDT and thought, yes, he's going to win. And the top head's going to break up the pinfall. No! But yeah, for what it was a fun short tag match, so there you go. But can we please have Frank Eagle Soul win a match soon? I feel so bad for the guy. Anyway, and the next match was Kylan Kidd versus Jasmine Allure. And kind of cool to see Kylan Kidd back. I haven't seen her for about 2-3 weeks because I think she's starting to really get better as time goes on. And Jasmine Allure, I've seen her a couple of times. She's getting better as well. And this was a fun but short match. I enjoyed this one. Kylan King, as I said, is a great wrestler. I think she's starting to get better and better, as I've mentioned. But the women's division is starting to get more and more of a spotlight recently, and I'm so pleased to say that. Also, I will say this whilst I'm on the subject, it's going to be really cool to see Dynamite tomorrow and seeing the Lights Out match. I think the first ever AEW women's main event. I'm not sure. I might be wrong about that. But her versus Britt Baker versus Thunder Rosa and Lights Out match, it's going to be fun. So, but anyway, Kylan King won the match. Well done. And then what was next was a very short, very large tag match. Angel Fashion, Baron Black, Roy Morales, and Ryzen. Four-man tag, for 8-man tag debut, which we'll take. Versus Colt Cabana, Evil Uno, Stu Grayson, and then Angels. And it was a short tag match. And like recently, what Dark Order are doing to their opponents, I feel so bad for their opponents. Basically, to finish the match, they're hitting every single finish on their arsenal on one opponent. And then getting the win. And then Colt Cabana hit Billy Goat's curse. And I just thought, I felt so bad for the opponent getting battered by every finisher by the Dark Order. But you know, it's kind of what they're doing these days, and that's absolutely fine. And it's always great to see the Dark Order pick up wins. And I said, I think they're most lovable and I think most liked faction in all of AEW now. And that says so because there's some liked factions right now. So, there you go. The next match was, I think, the shortest match in the show. The Gun Club versus David Ali, Adam Priest, and Seth Gargles in 1 minute and 1 second. Now, the opposing team to the Gun Club tried to get the jump on them before the bell even rang, which is smart. But lo and behold, Gun Club have had none of it. It made very short work of them. And that was it, really. It's a very, very quick 6-man tag match, and Gun Club teach them a lesson. So, there you go. The next match was, actually, this was the shortest match. 59 seconds. Bear Country versus Dean Alexander and Brooke Aldridge. And I said it before and I'll say again, I love Bear Country. I think they're superb. They're really starting to get more and more highlighted and starting to show more of their, power and shall we say, viciousness. Not viciousness, but best word to use. Presence. I think that's a good way to put it. But they won with the very unique splash they do in one of the Bear Countries on the other shoulders, and he drops him forward. Won the match in 59 seconds, very convincing fashion. So there you go. The next match was D3 versus Nick Comoroto, and basically Nick Comoroto, if you've ever seen him, you know he's not a small guy. He is built like a tank. And D3, even though this was a squash match, I will say this for Nick Comoroto, D3 did get some decent offense in, briefly, but of course, when you're facing a guy like Nick Comoroto, who is, like I said, a tank, and D3 is not the tallest guy or the biggest guy, D3 got just overpowered by the Gorilla Press into a power slam by Nick Comoroto for the win in about 2 minutes. So, a quick squash match. Nick Comoroto, good to see him back in AEW Dynamite, AEW programming, should we say. I like him, he's doing well, so keep it up. And the next match was Jarrell Nelson, I pronounced it correctly, don't want to mispronounce it, and Royce Isaacs versus Varsity Blondes. And this was another quick match. And Varsity Blondes, again, I really like them as a tag team. I think they're really starting to show a lot more recently. I think they could have possibly done much better in the Battle Royal. I feel bad they didn't because I think they're very good. And they click very well. But this was a fun tag match, to be fair. I didn't mind it at all. And Varsity Blondes picking up another win. And I think they're starting to climb up in the rankings at the moment. I'm not too sure where they are. I have to maybe looked it up at some point. But there you go. Rising bronze pickup, a well-deserved win, because I like him. Our next match was one of my matches of the night, actually, and it wasn't the longest match, to be fair. It was Vert Vixen versus Maddie Rankowski. Even though it was only 4 minutes and 19 seconds, this was a very good match. Very good back and forth exchange between these two. And Maddie Rankowski, obviously great to see her back in AEW again. And Vert Vixen, and she's getting better as well, I think, in AEW. Vert Vixen, her fourth appearance ever. Maddie Rankowski's fifth appearance. But this is, as I said, a very good back and forth match. Both women put some really good offense in, and basically, it's a very unique match to see that obviously Maddie Rankowski is starting to get a bit more momentum. I was thinking Vert Vixen might win at some point, but you know what? She didn't, but she put in a very good effort here. Good effort here, I should say. But this was a very fun match. I enjoyed it. So definitely thumbs up to both ladies who putting up a very short but very good back and forth match. So well. Then we had SCU versus Carly Bravo and Aaron Solo. And I think this was a great tag match, to be fair. And SCU have always been great, if you've ever seen them. But not to take anything away from Solo and Carly. They worked well as a tag team too. And I really want to see Aaron Solo get a bit more momentum too, because he's now part of the Nightmare family. And I'm not sure if Bravo is. Don't quote me on it. But this was a very fun tag match. And SCU, I think, I really don't want to see them split because I really like them. I think they're one of the best tag teams in AEW, bar none. And I think they're the number one contenders. Sorry, the number one ranked tag team. Even though Penta and Pac do have a title shot at some point, I think SCU are the number one ranked team. So then versus Young Bucks, who wouldn't want to see that? I mean, they've clashed before, but it's always great to see. Even that or Pac and Lucha, Ray Phoenix and Pac versus SCU for the belts on one day. That would be great. I'm not saying Young Bucks are going to lose the belts, but I wouldn't mind seeing that at all. But this is a fun tag match, so there you go. And next was, I'm probably going to say, my match of the night. I think basically it was Sonny Kiss and Joey Janela versus Ricky Starks and Brian Cage. And basically a very unique presence from both both teams, because Ricky Starks and Brian Cage were kind of, you could tell in the way they were doing the match, a little bit frustrated with each other after their loss to Sting and Darby Allin at Revolution. The last pay-per-view, you might say, right? But no, it was Revolution. Sorry, I was right. But this was a good tag match, to be fair, and the chemistry between both teams clicked very, very well here. And I'm going to say this is one of Sonny Kiss's best AEW performances to date. And I've said it before, I think Sonny Kiss is perhaps the most athletic wrestler in the male division because of obviously his athletic background. And Joey Janela did some really cool stuff in this match too. And Ricky Starks and Brian Cage were kind of having that confliction with each other, and it showed in the match. And Joey and Sonny tried to play that off. Didn't quite work out the way they wanted, but it was a very, very unique chemistry between both teams and between both tag partners. Because even though Brian Cage and Brian Cage and Ricky Starks picked up the win, after the match, Joey kind of got a little bit annoyed with Sonny, and it was very unique to say. And even though, because Sonny wasn't really responsible for the loss, it was kind of both of them, to be honest. But maybe seen some dissension between Joey and Sonny. I hope not, because I really like them as a tag team. But this was a good tag match. I really enjoyed it. It was probably one of my matches of the night, if not my match of the night. So definitely a thumbs up to both teams for doing a very, very good job here. Which brings us to the main event of Jack Evans versus Dark Order number 10. And basically, this was a very unique situation because of what happened to 10 during the match. At some point towards the end, he got hit, I think, in the nose, in the mouth. And he was, the blood pouring out of his mouth into his mask was crazy. And I give him credit to finishing the match because he may have lost a tooth, because I'm not sure how he's bleeding. But I felt kind of bad for him. But the fact is, he kept on going and he finished the match and won the match with a full Nelson, which, obviously the power of him against someone that's a bit smaller, Jack Evans, who is one of the most reliable high flyers ever. This was a good main event, and before the blood, very good exchanges between the two. The most Jack Evans, I think, doing the right thing by trying to get the bigger guy down to his size was working quite well. And he could fly. And Jack Evans for years has been one of the best high flyers in the world. But this was a fun main event, and I do feel kind of bad for Dark Order number 10. Hopefully it's not so bad. I haven't heard anything as to how bad it is, but thumbs up for him to soldiering what was a really bad knock to him to finish the match, even though it was just before the end. You never like to see that, and of course it does happen. It's professional wrestling, but Dark Order number 10, you're a soldier. Jack Evans, you're a soldier too. So thumbs up to these two to put on entertaining main events. So there you go. And with that being said, that is it for this review. Thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate it, and I'll see everyone very, very soon. Until that time, take care, everyone.